Helena Maria Viramontes was born February 26, 1954 in East Los Angeles, California. She was one of 8 siblings. Her father was a construction worker while her mother was a Chicano housewife. Helena graduated from Garfield High School. She later then attended Immaculate Heart College. It was there that she majored in literature and received a Bachelor of Arts in 1975. While Helena was in college, she started writing poetry and fiction. She had a strong love for literature, and this love led her to devoting much of her time to studying English and creative writing. She began writing many stories, and they started becoming recognized. In 1977, her story Requiem for the Poor won first prize in a literary contest sponsored by Statement magazine. She also won yet another Statement prize the following year for her story The Broken Web, and in 1979 was awarded the Fiction Prize in the University of California at Irving Chicano Literary Contest for the short story Birthday. Helena's first book was published in 1985 as entitled Moss and Other Stories. While getting married and having 2 children, her work was put on a brief pause as she devoted much of her time caring for her children and family. It was in 1994 that she finished and received a master's degree of fine arts in creative writing. She is most noted for her stories and their expression of Chicano culture.
Helena Maria Viramontes has written The Moss and Other Stories, Under the Feet of Jesus, and The Dogs Came with Them. Her books focus on the working class, the homeless, and the undocumented of East Los Angeles, where Viramontes was born and raised. She gets inspiration from her experiences of life and turns these ideas into stories. She recreates the lives of the people that the outside world knows little about. She tells the stories of the people that don't have a voice and creates a highly crafted tales of women struggling to make their lives in the barrios. Viramontes writes to give a voice to the Chicano community. The word Chicano is used to describe people of Mexican origin living in the United States. Originally, it was a way to describe Mexican Americans of lower social standing, but with the civil rights movement in the 1960s, people adopted it as a point of pride. Students protested in public schools, from Texas to East Los Angeles. Cesar Chavez, leader for the United Farm Workers, led these protests, and Viramontes was greatly influenced by him. In her most famous piece of work, Under the Feet of Jesus, which was published in 1995, Viramontes follows the life of a young girl, Estrella, about to cross over into womanhood, and expresses a representation of reality that isn't found anywhere else. Estrella comes to learn the value of life and discovers her own power to defy a system that would otherwise keep her down. With the novel's lyrical beauty, imagery, metaphors, and themes, it becomes a landmark piece of American literature. The Moss and Other Stories, which was published in 1985, is a book with 8 different short stories that go off of the theme of borders. The stories talk about the boundaries between Mexican and American culture and talk of how they overlap and are indistinguishable. In Their Dogs Came with Them, Viramontes' latest work, published in 2007, a group of young women struggle to find their way in the barrio of East Los Angeles in the 1960s. The book's storyline goes off of an expressway that is being built that is trying to split the Mexican and American communities. In this novel, Viramontes portrays the racial segregation of the Latino community. In the 1980s, Viramontes became co-coordinator of the Los Angeles Latino Writers Association and literary editor of X-Men Art magazine. Viramontes helped found Southern California Latino writers and filmmakers, and she has also collaborated with feminist scholar Maria Herrera Sobek and organized 3 major conferences at UC Irvine. This resulted in 2 collections of poetry, Chicana Creativity and Criticism, Charting New Frontiers in American Literature, and Chicana Rights on Word and Film. She was named a U.S. Ford Fellow in Literature for 2007 by the United States Artists Organization. She has also received the John Dos Passos Prize for Literature, a Sundance Institute Fellowship, a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship, and the Luis Leal Reward. Viramontes is currently a professor of creative writing in the Department of English at Cornell University.
Viramontes wrote short stories inspired by her childhood in East Los Angeles. Viramontes' novels features strong female characters and child protagonists, while writing in a way that shows the characters' motivations and lets the reader see the background of the situation. She has been deemed a transnational feminist who has provided an invaluable contribution to Chicano literature. Her novels are described as democratic because there is no one specific character in the spotlight. Many times she writes about people referenced as the forgotten poor. These people are the people who are down on their luck, like the homeless, cholos and cholas, as well as people who are overlooked in the sweeping eye of the government. Sandra Cisneros, author of Carmelo and House on Mango Street, says Helena Maria Viramontes' power is in her heartfelt observations about the forgotten poor. Not simply the poor, I mean the despised and the reviled, the homeless, the immigrant, the cholos and cholas.
For the fact that I am committed to giving voices to the disenfranchised, to those voices that have no voice in communities, like the farm workers, like women like my mothers and my sisters, who have nothing and work so hard and complain so little, and their lives are filled with such resiliency and such powerful love, and I just thought to myself, I have to celebrate this. I have to write about them, acknowledge them.